for as heavily as crypto was marketed in this film, that he's not just shown and kind of forgotten.
I'd argue that this is actually a movie about crypto.
Crypto's movie? This is Crypto's movie for sure. This is Crypto's movie. Hello and welcome to May the Review Be With You with Nick and Joe. I'm Joe.
And I'm Nick. And today, ladies and gents, we are talking about James Gunn's Superman.
Best Superman movie ever?
Best Superman movie ever.
Best Superman movie ever.
It's not even close. It's not even close. You can come at me with pitchforks on the internet. You can hit us up in the comments and tell me that Man of Steel with Henry Cavill was so much better. It's like, no, actually, you're wrong. So get off of our...
I legitimately walked out of the theater and heard someone say that.
Yeah, well, that person needs to go play in traffic. And that's incorrect. It's just incorrect. James Gunn absolutely crushed this.
For the record, I have nothing against Henry Cavill's Superman, but like it's but I don't know. I feel like Superman should be like kind of a happier guy. And like, I mean, Henry Cavill was cool. I liked him, but yeah, it was a very different take on the character.
Correct, right, and we're not going to spend the whole time comparing them, but I remember watching Man of Steel. I mean, I really liked this Superman movie. It was at the time my favorite one that I'd seen, or my favorite iteration of Superman in any capacity, right?
Yeah.
Because overall, I'm not the biggest fan of Superman. I just think it's really hard to humanize him and make him feel like he's vulnerable because of how powerful he is. And I didn't think a lot of iterations of him did that very well. And so I always like leaned more towards like being a fan of Batman or The Flash or something like that when it comes to like DC. But this version, James Gunn's Superman, it did all of those things way better than anything I had seen previously, in my opinion, and I loved it. It was awesome. It had a comic book flair. It had a modern day superhero flair. It had comedy. It had James Gunn comedy. There was a dog that we all love now. Like,
oh yeah. So like, it is so funny to me that like you can tell James Gunn is going through like a pet era right now. Like in his personal life, like there were so many pets in this movie. There were 3 dogs. There were turtles. This dude loves animals so much. I mean, if that wasn't obvious in Guardians of the Galaxy 3, like it should be obvious now. Dude loves animals.
Absolutely. And yeah. That's just my initial thoughts. Overall, I absolutely loved it. I think DC's in great hands. I'm actually excited now for the first time in my life about the DC universe, right? Like, I loved the Batman movies from Christopher Nolan. I loved the Batman from Matt Reeves. But, like, overall, there wasn't much else to be excited about DC-wise from a movie perspective. And this now has me, like, fully on board.
Can I give you a hot take?
Yeah.
Okay, so first off, what you just said was huge, right? Because, like, I'm sure that there are a lot of people like you who were like, I don't get what the DCEU is. Like, this sucks. Right?
Yeah.
So for you to be, like, actually excited again about DC movies, that's gigantic. My hot take, Christopher Nolan, who, like, we love, right? We're big fans of Christopher Nolan on this show. He was the worst thing that ever happened to DC. Like, the worst thing ever. And I say this as someone who, you're right.
Too high.
No, not even, right? Because like, I mean, you're right. Because like, Dark Knight is phenomenal. Batman Begins, pretty good. Dark Knight, phenomenal. Dark Knight Rises, but whatever. Like the first 2, great. I have my issues with Dark Knight Rises, but the thing is, like, Christopher Nolan grounded Batman in a very realistic way, in a very dark way, right? And because of like the success of that, DC was like, oh, we got to do that. We got to do that for everybody. We got to do that for all of our people. And like they tried to do that with Man of Steel, and Christopher Nolan was even a producer on that movie. And I don't think that movie failed at all. But it set a tone that DC was like never able to get away from.
Right, exactly. And that tone just did not work. And speaking of tone, this is honestly, and I'm not kidding, before we even saw a character on screen, I knew that this was like 30 seconds in. I'm like, this is exactly how I wanted this movie to start. When it has the writing, right? And it's like 3 centuries ago, metahumans.
metahumans showed up on Earth, right?
Metahumans showed up on Earth. But giving us that intro, basically the origin story of not just Superman, but kind of metahumans too, right?
Yeah,
For
the
DC,
DC
right?
universe, right?
It gave us like the DC universe metahumans origin story, kind of. And then it gave us Superman's origin story in writing because everybody knows it. We don't need to see it. We don't need to see it. Everybody knows this. Thank you. First of all, thank you. And with the music, right? The title card music playing in the background, reading all this. And then it's just like, 3 minutes ago, Superman lost his first fight. Like, and then it starts with him getting his ass kicked. Literally, like that moment, you're like, this movie is going to be fucking fantastic. And it did not disappoint for the rest of it, which is like amazing.
It was cool to see him take like him being James Gunn, take a play out of like the Star Wars playbook, because like one of the reasons why like New Hope was like so successful is like that intro. That intro is killer, right? You get the summary crawl, the background crawl of everything you need to know about what's going on, and it just drops you into the middle of the action. You see small ship being chased by big ship, and like that's all you need to know. It's like we're in the middle of the action. We know that Superman is the strongest metahuman that's ever lived on Earth. And 3 minutes ago, he just lost his first fight, and then we just see him plummet into the ice. Yeah, stellar beginning.
Man, just a kick-ass way to set the tone to open up the film, right? Gets his butt kicked, and we get to see Krypto like just be the most pain in the ass bad dog you've ever seen, right?
It is such a smart move to get a cute, fun dog involved in any sort of way that doesn't make the movie seem overly silly, right? Because I mean, for anyone who's like not like an action movie lover or a comic book lover, most people, unless like you're purely a cat person for whatever reason, and for the record, love cats. It's not a diss towards cat people, but like I know that there are some people who just don't like dogs. Most people seem to like dogs to some capacity. So to know that like he was a big part of this movie and is going to be a big part of the DCEU or DCU like moving forward. So smart. So smart. Like way to connect with an audience like so fast.
Yeah.
Also, in case someone hasn't heard this yet, fun that Krypto is based on James Gunn's dog, Ozu. Super fun that his dog is actually part of the movie to some capacity. There you go.
Right.
A huge dog lover, James Gunn.
Yeah. Love that.
I have one other thing though to talk about politically, and it really has to do more with kind of the legacy of Superman, because this movie, like, it seems pretty clear already that once the box office weekend is closed, and you more than likely will be watching this after the premiere box office weekend is closed, this movie is going to have a successful box office weekend, and probably will for the next few weeks as well. And that got me thinking about like what that says about like where the public is right now of a movie like this, like compared to like Man of Steel or Dark Knight when those were coming out, right? And what we were just talking about, mantra could be very well be kind, be excellent to each other, right? There's a very positive and hopeful feeling to this movie, and I was thinking about like when Superman has really made like his biggest splashes on the public, right? And the greater audience of either America or the world, right? And I'm thinking about like when Superman came out originally in Action Comics, 1938. I'm thinking about 40 years later when Christopher Reeves donned the cape and the S in 1978, right? And then right now, right? With James Gunn's Superman, with David Cornsweet as Superman, right? And where the public is in those moments. And each time it's 1938, it's coming out of the Great, or it's like toward the tail end of the Great Depression, going into World War II, World War I, still in the minds of people, right? There's like a dark kind of mood in the public. 1978, we're coming off like an energy crisis. We're coming off of the Vietnam War. We're coming off the Watergate scandal. There are these moments of like mistrust, or like, I'll stick with mistrust of the government, right? And right now there's political animosity. Superman works best when people are like looking for some kind of vestige of hope, right? And I think that's very much what this movie tried to do, and I think it absolutely succeeds in it.
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, Superman is hope, right? And it just did a phenomenal job, like giving that to you. while still, in my opinion, staying true to like its comic bookness as well, right? Like they humanized him like so well in this film, but also still made you believe that like he's of course otherworldly and extremely powerful. Um, geez, it's just I'm still blown away at how impressed I am with it. Like I was so mad at DC for so long, and now I'm excited as hell.
I'm excited as hell. I think you said it best. Superman is hope. And despite being like a symbol, he's still like relatable as like a human character, right? As someone who's
Yeah.
just trying to figure out like who he even is anymore after having like his world rocked, right? Finding out that his parents sent him on a mission of conquest. Which, as far as Superman comics go, I'm not super familiar with that plot thread. I'm not. I doubt that that's a James Gunn original necessarily. Um, but that one was new to me, and that was quite the spicy little twist there. I enjoyed that. Um, this movie had so much going on in it. So like let's get into the plot here. Um, I've heard people call it messy. I've heard other people call it chaotic. I think it's definitely chaotic because like it it definitely all goes to a logical point, right? Like there's not really a plot thread necessarily that is useless. It all goes somewhere. There's a lot of characters. They're all doing something. Even if it's just sitting in the corner crying. I am referring to one specific journalist. Um, but yeah, let's you want to just start with the Man of Steel? You want to start with Big Blue?
Yeah, let's start with Big Blue.
Let's start with Big Blue. So yeah, as we were just talking about, Superman's plot line throughout this movie is kind of, he's at the beginning of his super heroism. He's only 3 years in, and he's trying to rediscover who he is, or really figuring out like how he weighs into this world. And especially when a certain part of the world starts pushing back against him, and at one point, the entire world starts pushing back against him. And I think it's him trying to persevere through that. You were talking about earlier what makes Superman potentially in the hands of a writer who doesn't really know what they're doing kind of boring, is when how do you outmatch Superman? And truthfully, I mean, like you can get someone who's strong and like you might be able to make a compelling plot, but I think the plot's really compelling when you lean into his human characteristics, right? And that's in this, the public opinion.
He just doesn't have the give up gene, right? He's just going to do whatever it takes. And yeah, his like character development, really, even in this film, right? Like, because he starts off being this symbol of hope that everybody loves, right? And as the movie progresses, like Lex and I forget the name of the country, but they're basically doing whatever they can to bring him down, right? And they want to defeat him, and they're using their social media skills, but then also, of course, they obtain this like actual video of his family telling him that he should be like the dominate this planet, and they use all these things against him to kind of turn the world against him for a short time. And of course, like you've got this sweet moment with his with Martha and his father when he goes home for a brief time to like kind of bring him back to, it's like, hey, this isn't your destiny, is whatever you want it to be, right? And so we kind of have a character arc really for him in a way, right? In this film alone, which is really cool, and ultimately like comes out on the other side better for it. And you mentioned a lot of characters, and that's another thing that really impressed me, was that we get a lot of new characters in this movie. Like,
So
and this
many.
movie is like not even 2 hours. Like it's like an hour and like 50 minutes or something. Like it's quick. And
It
we
felt
get
quick too. It breezes
yeah,
by.
and we get a ton of characters, and it didn't feel like overdone. Like it didn't feel like it was too much. They didn't force dialogue for some of these characters. Like I was thinking afterwards, I was like, man, like I think Hawk Girl had like 5 lines. She was there, but she wasn't like, didn't have a ton of speaking lines. Mr. Terrific didn't have a ton either. He had more.
I'd say he probably had the most of the three.
Yeah, and then Guy Gardner, of course, hilarious. Had his like what I would call James Gunn humor lines. Like he had those like sprinkled in throughout. And this is like we get this whole like Justice Gang, which I can't wait until we don't call them that anymore. It's so bad. It's such a terrible name. Uh, but like we get all these characters, and then we have Lex, and then we have his like henchmen, and like so many, but didn't feel
Nick,
jumbled.
Nick, sorry, I was gonna bring this up, but since you're already on it, the thing that excited me weirdly the most in this movie, watching it for the first time. Uh, okay, so like we called it. We called that Otis was gonna be in the movie. We were right. Do you think that there is even like a remote chance that anyone else who has like any kind of like movie review or podcast or was just like threading, tweeting, post on X, whatever, speculation about like their guesses for the did anybody else guess that Otis was going to be in this movie? I don't think so. I didn't see that anywhere. Nobody cared about Otis. You know who did? We did. We liked Otis and we wanted better for Otis, and Otis got better. Otis got his justice. He was a competent man and he pushed the button. He had one job, push the button, and he did it. Um,
Ah, love that.
going back into some other characters here. I guess the other main character of this movie is Nicholas Hoult, or Lex Luthor's
Oh,
Lex
dude.
Luthor. Nicholas Holt's Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
Um, what a phenomenal performance
No, he's
by
so good.
Nicholas Hoult.
He's so
Um,
good.
so good. To me, on at least on the big screen, Lex Luthor has never felt more dangerous. But he was able to keep like that level of like anger and cynicism and narcissism, um, and also be comical. Like he was still like he was still funny, and like he was still
Yeah.
like cartoony too somehow.
Right.
I'm specifically referring to the thousands of monkeys that he's programmed to
Yeah.
rage on social media. Hilarious, so dumb. I love it.
Yeah. Dude, and that brings me to like the Pocket Universe too, which was like really the set design and how that they made that look with CGI and set design or however they did it. Like the Pocket Universe is pretty badass. Um, and such like what a way to go right off the bat, basically, right? The first big entry in DC's new universe. We're just going to
Yeah.
explore dimensions, right off the get. But you know, the MCU makes that easy to go with because the MCU has like we've explored it so much now in the MCU that like I didn't feel like it was like crazy or out of the blue or forced,
I mean,
basically.
to a certain degree, that's because of James Gunn, right? I mean,
Right.
like he right with the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, like
Right.
he helped normalize like that kind of science fiction in mainstream audiences.
For
And
sure.
you're so right to kick this universe experiment off with like something that's like kind of pretty weird, right? And to like
Yeah.
trust that like audiences aren't gonna be weirded out by that. Like it'll be fine.
Yeah,
They'll
and
get
it's
it.
just like this whole separate prison, like in the Pocket Universe, where it's just like nobody, you just disappeared from our reality. You're just in the Pocket Universe in the jail cell. It's crazy. What a
Mm.
crazy. So that was like insane. And yeah, to your point, Lex Luthor, Nicholas Hoult, incredible performance. He's just really awesome, man. Oh my goodness. Um, but
Dude,
yeah, like he felt comic booky too. Like this whole movie was just like it was a really great balance between like what's comic book, what are superhero movies today, how can we bridge that gap and like make it work. And this is it.
he yeah, the comic bookiness of him is it was really it was kind of realistic despite it being comic booky. Like they just found like a good hybrid, and like I'm talking about like there are certain exchanges between Superman and Lex, that like these are absolutely like the kind of exchanges that you would see in like Saturday morning cartoons or like in a comic book, right? Where they're telling each other like who they are as people, right? Like Lex Luthor combating Superman when Superman says, you're giving into your envy, and like Lex Luthor is like, you don't think I don't know I'm envious? Of course I know that. Of course I know. That's what's driving me to be better than you. I have to
Right.
be because I'm envious, right?
Yeah.
I love that conversation. I love the conversation that Superman talks about what his real power is, right? To put one boot on the other, right? It's very, very American, right? Strapping those boots on, right? But like it's a corny speech, but like it's delivered in a pretty like realistic way, and I loved it. And then freaking single tear that comes from Nicholas Holt's face after the world has turned against him. I loved this idea. I loved that he's so jealous that he gets like reduced to like just this childish moment, right? Like it's just
Yeah.
a single fat tear that comes out of his eye. He's
Yeah.
broken, he is defeated. I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah. That was awesome. Well deserved too, Lex. You
Yeah,
deserve
well
that tear.
deserved.
um, and like and I think you touched on it a second ago. The conversation he has with uh, Lois Lane, when the Justice Gang is like fighting this interdimensional being. That was a humanizing moment, right? They like how are you going to humanize Superman? It's like you have a conversation with this girl that he loves, right? And about who he is and what he stands for, and she's giving him shit for like believing in everybody and thinking everything is beautiful and how it's not punk rock, and to him it's like, what if that is the real punk rock, right? And it's just like, hell yeah, James got like, give me some punk rock like notices here. Like I love that. That was one of my favorite parts of the movie, just like the how all of a sudden Lois Lane is like this punk rock chick and giving him shit for the punk rock he listens to and telling him it's pop and not punk, and it's like, that's so funny.
That was a very real conversation, right? Like I've
Right.
definitely found myself in that conversation or overhearing that conversation before. It was neat, as you said, for it to be kind of like the canvas for talking about two characters, right? And demonstrating who these two characters are with
Right.
this argument of what's punk rock and what's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're right. That's super fun, and it's very James Gunn.
Transitioning a little bit to
Wait,
the reporting.
before. Okay, cool. This is actually exactly what I wanted to talk about. Yeah,
Great.
please go ahead.
Because Lois Lane, reporter at Clark Kent, reporter. That newsroom, like, we need that newsroom today. Like, where is it? Where is it, Joe? Like,
New
it's
York
just
and
so
in our
cool.
dreams, Nick. That's it.
Yeah,
Our dreams.
man, and I really loved like the dynamic of that newsroom. Right, I think that was just like cast brilliantly and really fun. Jimmy Olsen is just like the ladies' man we never knew the world needed, I guess.
That was so unexpected, like how head over heels Eve is for Jimmy Olsen, and I love that like he just doesn't get it. Like he doesn't get it. He's not into it. Like he's before we get to Jimmy here, Jimmy and Eve. I don't want to transition from Rachel or Rachel Brosnahan, Lois Lane, and journalism real quick. So this is I'm too hyped from this movie to really pick out too many gripes. So I would definitely need to watch it a second time before I could really do that. But
Yeah.
I do have one. And I don't know if it's with the movie or if it's with the character of Lois Lane here. Because like Lois Lane, she's always described as like plucky. Lois Lane's plucky. I think Rachel Brosnahan like absolutely nails that, right? She's always got a retort, right?
Right.
And I appreciate that, like, despite the fact that she's cold, or colder, like she can still, to a degree, wear her heart on her sleeve. And, it was a really great performance. So there's this argument between Clark and Lois in her apartment where she talks about Clark interviewing himself, which is absolutely unethical. Right? Like
Right.
absolutely messed up that Clark is like okay with doing this. Like
Yeah.
honestly, that might be his biggest flaw as like Superman, that like
Right.
he thinks that that's acceptable journalism.
That whole scene is so good. Oh man.
At least Peter Parker has the audacity to like take a picture of himself and then like as a freelance photographer just take the money and run, right? He's not he's a freelancer for the most part at the Daily Bugle or at the Daily Planet, Daily Bugle, Superman's at the Daily Planet. Jesus. Anyway, so Lois calls him out on this and says like it's unethical, and that she wants to interview Superman, and Superman says yes to this. I'm sorry, Lois. Are you or are you not sleeping with Superman? You're gonna sit on your pedestal and tell me that that's ethical? Okay, girl. Whatever, but whatever, girl. Get your headline, get your front page. You got to do what you got to do. It's a dog eat dog world out there.
I love that scene, right, where the writing there was just done so well. They're going back and forth, and then he says something, and he's like, "But you can't write that." She's like, "We're on the record."
You have to say off the record. That was off the record. You have to say that.
Say it. Basically, teaching him how to be a real journalist while interviewing him.
Clark, why don't you know this?
Right.
Clark Kent, bad reporter.
And I love his voice changing too. That he has the difference between Clark, like when he's Clark Kent or when he's Superman, he has a slight difference in his voice tone. It's like really
Yeah.
cool. Oh man, so ridiculous.
Which speaks to, I think this is the funniest Superman has ever been on the big screen. He was legitimately very funny. And
Yeah,
like in kind of like a small way, right? Like
right,
what you just said with like the voices, him like making his own sound bites, right? Like he's always thinking about like, oh, that would be a good sound bite.
right,
Like I'll see that.
right.
Um, the super shit, being like
Yeah,
something that actually gets under his skin, like,
so good.
like he was comedic in a very, again, relatable way. Like some of
Yeah,
his humor, like when he gets the heck beaten out of him toward the end of the movie with Ultraman, Mr. Terrific's like, "Quit messing around, get up here." He's like, "I'm not messing around. I'm doing a lot of important
I'm
stuff,
doing
man.
important
Like,
stuff, man.
a lot of important stuff."
Yeah. Which to that point, so you were talking about like things that bothered you that it's hard to say because you enjoyed it so much the first time. There is one thing that
Mm.
I could definitely point to
Oh,
that
please, yeah,
I questioned during it, and it's towards the end, right, where Lex has this big speech while they're kicking Superman's ass, right, and they're using like a ton of technology to really beat him, right? They're using a metahuman, but they're also using like a ton of technology to beat him, and Lex is giving the speech and he's just like 1A, 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 and he's just like beating the brakes off of him, right? Just a bunch of single punches. And in that moment, Superman realizes like the floating cameras essentially around um the what is it, Ultraman that's beating his ass?
yeah.
Um that he's like, "Oh, is this how you're monitoring my moves or analyzing me basically?" And then he like gets Crypto to like wreck these drones essentially that are cameras that are helping them, give the directions on what to do to beat him. And I'm just like, it bothered me a little bit that wasn't realized earlier. It's just like, this is how you're going to beat him, by finally realizing that they're watching and analyzing your moves. Like, how did you
This is a
not
good
notice
point.
that? How did you not notice that before?
Mm.
Like, I don't think the movie did a great job making me believe that in the moment. Totally.
I think the movie does a bad job of representing why him realizing this just now, like, is happening just now. Um, and I think the reason here is it's because Lex is talking to him, right?
Right.
Whereas Lex wasn't openly talking to him before. Like the channel that he was talking to was only to Ultraman. It wasn't like before. It wasn't like those things were broadcasting it to Ultraman, right? It was
Right.
going directly to Ultraman. Whereas now, because he's talking to Superman and he's giving commands, he's
Right.
like confounding the channels, right? They're
Right.
happening both on that open channel, and Superman's
Right.
like, "Oh, so that's how you're doing it,
And
right?"
Superman hears him say 1A and he gets hit in the head 10 times as he says it, and he realizes, oh, he's controlling this guy.
Right.
So now I have to, but like, so like,
I agree. There's a step missing.
it's just, there is a little step missing for sure.
Yeah.
But that's really my only thing that I can, from the first time watching it, like you said, maybe, we watch it 2 or 3 more times. Maybe there's like little other things we can pick, but that's a good thing. Like the fact that like we'd have to go watch it again to have like a bigger issue, right? Like it's really a sign of a really well done film.
I also really appreciate that, for as heavily as Crypto was marketed in this film, that he's not just shown and kind of forgotten. Actually,
Yeah.
like being pretty important or somewhat important for the climax, right? And saving the day.
I mean,
Um,
I'd argue that this is actually a movie about crypto.
Crypto's movie. This is Crypto's movie for sure. This is Crypto's movie. He is the hero of the whole movie.
Crypto and Superman should be the title of this film.
Oh, what a great final shot, right? Or almost final shot of the movie. I think it's the mid-credit scene where it's actually a tribute to I think it's All-Star Superman. Where it is Superman and Crypto sitting on the moon and watching
Yeah.
an Earthrise together,
Yeah.
right? That was super cool to watch. Super cool. To watch Superman, Super Dog, watch the Earthrise like in a realistic way, right?
Yeah.
It was neat. I enjoy Clark's chemistry with Crypto. I like that it is chaotic.
Yeah.
I like that he even refers to him. He's like, he's not even a good dog, but I'm gonna go find him anyway.
Right. And then we find out at the very, very end, right? Like after credit scene, that it's his cousin's dog. It's Supergirl's dog.
Kara's dog, yeah.
Yeah. So there's a reason for the chaos in Supergirl. And the brief moment we get, we realize that she's just a drunk party teenage chick. Like she's just going out getting hammered on planets with red suns because they can't get drunk on a planet with a yellow sun. Like, so which is a great fun way to introduce Supergirl because it's a very different take than I think what we've had in some smaller like shows and things like that. And
also, it was really coul to see Millie Alcock. I didn't realize, I haven't followed the news on this. I didn't realize that she was Supergirl. So neat to see House of the Dragons young star, probably my favorite actress in House of the Dragons, going to be a huge part of this universe moving forward.
Yeah, very exciting. So that'll be a cool moment when we get like more on-screen time for her. That'll be really awesome. And hopefully she took Crypto though. So I hope we get more Crypto, you know.
well, like to me that was like an obvious sign that like, we're absolutely getting more Crypto, right?
Yeah.
Like cuz the Supergirl movie comes out next summer, June 26, 2026, right?
So we'll get to Supergirl and Crypto.
Crypto's here to stay, baby. This is his universe.
Yeah, dude. I'm with you there. It's Crypto's world. We're just living in it, man.
Let's see. We talked about David. We talked about Rachel. We talked about Nicholas. He's minor role, but Nathan Fillion, big name, playing big characters, playing Guy Gardner. And Guy Gardner, notorious for being just a huge piece of shit when it comes to the Green Lanterns, and like, yeah, he's kind of scummy. He's kind of an asshole. Like, I appreciate it. I kind of appreciated that the Justice Gang like all kind of sucked to a degree.
Yeah.
Like, Mr. Terrific was definitely the best of them, but like even he was like, dude, just kill this thing. Just blind this thing. Are you kidding me, Superman? Are you kidding me?
Right. Yeah, that's I enjoyed the Justice Gang. I hate the name so much that they almost feel like
you're out of the gang. You're out of the gang, dude.
That's fine. I don't want to be I don't want to be a part of it. I don't want to be a part of that. But they almost feel like man, what am I looking for? They're like, you know, they're like your B superheroes, you know? Like, and so, which they are, but like it did a good job.
Has something to say to you, sir.
Yeah, well, sucks to suck, guy.
Hey, guy, I'm not your buddy, guy.
There's a comic-y thing about them, you know, and even though they were badass in their own way.
Who would you say was like the most like James Gunn character in the entire movie?
Oh man, that's a great question.
Like for an example, like I'm looking at like in Guardians of the Galaxy, I'm thinking of like Peter Quill is probably the most James Gunn character in that movie, right? Suicide Squad, I'd probably pick I might pick Peacemaker actually. Maybe. Either Peacemaker. Speaking of which, he's in this movie. Spoilers. That was a delightful little surprise.
Yeah, that was cool.
I love that James Gunn, because like of course Peacemaker has survived the last universe and will be in this one. That was James Gunn's movie. Like, like he's like, yeah, of course Peacemaker's gonna survive. Like, he's my guy.
Yeah,
he's great.
gotta look out for your own. Oh man. No, I don't know. I think maybe like not Jimmy. I almost want to say Jimmy Olsen, but just because of how like unaware he was. You know, there's like something about
I like that. Yeah.
How unaware he is compared to like almost like Drax in a way from the awareness perspective on like.
See, for that reason, Drax is a good choice too. For that reason, I would have said Metamorpho.
Okay.
Who we've not talked about.
Right. Well, I mean, but there's no like lines really, you know, it's just.
Yeah, he's just kind of there as a plot device, right?
Yeah.
You know, help Clark get out of. Well, actually, okay. He's used as several different plot devices. Keep Clark in the pocket dimension. Create a challenge for Clark to get out of the pocket dimension. Get him out of the pocket dimension, and then save the people at the end, right? Like he's used as one plot tool from one scene to the next.
Yeah.
And he has a very like charming line about Justice Gang at the end.
Yes.
Cool name.
You're it. Yeah.
The fact that Bradley Cooper was in this movie as Jor-El and Jor-El is a monster.
The equivalent to was it Marlon Brando? Like just
Right,
like
right,
randomly. Like
right.
what?
Marlon
Like okay.
Brando, who's like, you know, like such a great alien father, and he's like, I'm doing this for my son. And like Jor-El Bradley Cooper is like, dominate them.
Yeah.
Create
You know, and
harems.
that's maybe the other thing that bothered me a little bit was that like that wasn't actually a fake video. That it was actually like real, that's what they said.
That is
That
kind of
like
wild. Yeah, that like we're
y-
just doing that.
yeah, cuz like I don't think did they make that up? Like that's not
Well, that's what I was saying in the beginning. I don't know if that's a comic book thing. I don't know if there is a comic book thing out there where that happens. I'm assuming there must be, because a lot of, not, I mean, there is some originality to this movie. I don't want to say that there was nothing original, but like, there's a lot of like plot threads that harken to famous Superman comics, right? That one I don't know. I'm not familiar with the elves being, the elves were
right.
outcasts on their planet because like, you know, they were altruists because they were good
Right.
people.
Right. So that was really shocking and like I would have been more believable if it was like a fake video, but then I guess with how good tech is in Metropolis, like they were the concept there writing wise would have been like, well, everyone would have knew that it was a doctored video. So we
You
can't
know,
let people
you know
believe
what it is,
it if it's not real.
right? I think you need this to be real for two reasons. One, you need it. You need no debate from the public once they see it, right? That they have to be immediately like, oh my god, like that. Yeah, that, of course that's real. Superman's evil, right? So like that immediately creates conflict. The whole world against Superman, right? And then second, and more importantly, because of the pictures Eve takes at the end, because now these have to have credibility for being real too, and there's
Right.
no argument that Lex is a tool and sucks, right? Like we
Right.
we need it to be fast, you know?
Right. Yeah, that's a great point. Writing wise, like needing everyone, like the audience, to like be on board with not questioning the evidence found throughout the
Mm-hmm.
film, basically, right? Like the evidence throughout the film is all true,
Yeah, right.
right? So, but not maybe not the, but the audio, but the world's reaction might not be true or correct
Mm,
based on the evidence, right? Like
right.
what I mean is that's like, you know, they're all immediately like, oh, Superman hates us now. It's like that wasn't correct. Like, but they believed what they were, you know, they jumped to the conclusion without seeing like, is he actually going to fall in line with what his parents said or not, right? Like, whereas, and then with Lex at the end, it's like, oh my God, he's like, he's, you know, he's actually a crooked person and like doing the wrong thing, and like that was the correct way to view it because that was true. But yeah, no, that's a great point about like believing the evidence right away and having it like push the film so you're not like questioning as it goes.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, interesting choice.
Yeah, very.
Yeah.
I guess to go back to, because I keep skipping over him every time we bring him up. Jimmy Olsen, just be just being unresistible to like this crazy hot person who hangs out with billionaires.
Well, he was irresistible to all women.
Yeah, yeah, actually that's true.
They said
He's
that
just
they
a
made
ladies'
him.
man.
He's a ladies' man, like
Yeah,
hilarious, like ladies' man with the like
and like, would you call him
the
an
most
unaware ladies' man?
the most unassuming, unaware ladies' man for sure. Like he's just like, and he was so frightened of Eve and how much she was like a clinger that he thought about not saving the world multiple times at the end. Like he was like, I don't know if I want to hang out with you this weekend enough to save everybody. I might prefer to die. Like,
I'm gonna say something that'll probably be the weirdest thing I've ever said on this show. I wanted to see her toes. I'm a little
that's ridiculous.
disappointed. I'm a little disappointed that after all that, we did not get to see why he was so weirded out by her mutant toe. He named her Mutant Toes on his
Yeah,
phone. That's so mean.
dude, that's hilarious, man. It's so ridiculous.
How bad could it be?
Bad. Just
Enough
chat
for him to be
GPT
like,
into this.
I would rather see the world burn than hang out with this person again.
Yeah, hilarious. Um, loved that. And then I also really love that he's like the one who breaks the story at the end, right? He's like he gets all the data and he's the one who actually posts the story.
Yeah.
Um, to get the truth out there, which is really cool. Great collective room. Also, the only other thing too is Lewis Lane being able to actually fly Mr. Terrific's ship. Like he's like, it's really intuitive. You'll be fine. And it's like, okay, sure.
Whatever.
But it's small stuff. That's the thing. Like anything, really, most of the stuff was small.
It was, you know what it is? It's like some of the small conveniences that Gunn needs for the plot to just keep going. It's like,
Right.
It's very like hand wavy. Like, it's like, yeah, it makes sense. Keep going. Yeah. They all believe it. Yeah. Keep going.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like that's like a thing throughout the movie. He's like, yeah. Just keep going.
Yeah. It's a
it's worth it.
superhero
It's
world.
worth it.
Like, yeah, we're
It's
taking
worth it.
liberties. It's a superhero world. We're taking liberties.
Right.
Like, enjoy the film or leave.
Right. We're having
Well,
fun.
okay.
Are you having fun?
Yes, I am.
I
Awesome,
have a
man.
personal question for you.
Yeah, hit me.
Did you get misty-eyed at all?
No.
That's because you're a real tough guy.
Were you crying?
And
How many
I'm
times you
not.
cried?
And I'm not.
How many times did you cry?
Yeah,
Joe?
dude, I cried like 3 times. Are you kidding me?
Damn.
Like I got
Damn.
misty-eyed. I got misty-eyed twice, and like I like ugly cried like once.
Wow.
Yeah.
Alright.
So like I got misty-eyed at the conversation with Jonathan Kent when he's talking about, you know, who you are, the choices you make, right? It's a good father-son moment. Love that. Even if that's a conversation that we've seen in cinema like 100 different times, thought it was done pretty well. I got misty-eyed when that woman is driving away and the building is coming down and Superman, you know, it was, first of all, really great to see Superman saving people. Even squirrels. Saved a squirrel.
Yeah.
Loved that. Superman
Yeah.
looks out for the little guy. Love
Yes.
that.
Saved us. Great
Save
point.
the squirrel. Saves this woman. Woman looks back. There's a bunch of dust everywhere, but there in the sun, like you see Superman. He's still there. He's the guy who can do it all. I got misty-eyed at that. I wasn't expecting that. The part I knew I was gonna freaking cry. I was a little kid who's hoisting the flag in the freaking war zone, right? And he's praying to God that Superman's gonna come. That got me. That got me good. About that though. I'm glad I said this because I forgot. I think this is actually something I was like truly disappointed in, and I don't know if the kid was disappointed. But when Superman doesn't actually come and it's Guy Gardner who shows up, that is funny. But I was like, God damn it!
That kid got so shafted. Like, if you're that kid, you're like, you know what? I think I would have rather just like been taken over. Like, you're not Superman. Like, who are you, dude?
Like, oh man. Although Guy Gardner coming in there and just being an absolute dick in saving the day. Awesome.
That was awesome.
We got 2 superhero middle fingers in 10 days from both like competitors. We got one in Ironheart and we got one from Guy Gardner and Superman.
Nice. Yeah. We're getting feisty on the superhero end.
We're getting feisty.
We're getting feisty.
Yeah. What would before we close out here, what would you say is like the thing that'll really stick with you about James Gunn's Superman?
Honestly, it's the portrayal. It's how they portrayed this version of Superman and Clark Kent. Like, it's the way that they humanized him and how freaking cool the flying scenes were as well. Like, they really nailed technology these days. Like, is great, and sometimes it can be like not used properly. They crushed it. The flying sequences look freaking so cool, and David Cornsweet was just phenomenal as Clark Kent, phenomenal as Superman, and yeah, it really sticks with me how well they humanized him, but also made him like extremely powerful and made him vulnerable at the same time. Like, really freaking fantastic, and that's what sticks with me. Just how well performed and written this Superman was.
It's a very tight narrative for sure. And I agree with you. There's a lot of heart in this movie, and it's nice to see Superman portrayed as the way I think he was always intended to be, right? Like, the beacon of hope. And how hard that can be to be the beacon of hope, especially when the world goes as dark as it does. That was awesome. Thing that'll stick with me, exactly what you said. Portrayal of Superman. Also, it's really nice to have color in our superhero movies. This is a very colorful film. Thank you, James Gunn.
Dude, super colorful. Yeah,
super colorful. The alien that he's not fighting, that the Justice Gang is fighting, while him and Lois have a nice talk.
Yeah.
Probably one of the more colorful scenes, and it's a great scene just all over. It looks great, sounds great. It's just great, man. Go watch
Yeah.
Superman.
Go watch it on the
I'm
biggest.
gonna go watch it a second time.
Hell yeah.
What would you rate it?
Out of 5?
Oh yes, sir.
4.75.
I'll go 4.5. One, because of just some of the hand wavy stuff that I'm sure I'll notice more as I watch it a second or third time. But definitely within the range of 4, because 4 was the best robot, and that guy ruled. Also played by Alan Tudyk, who is freaking K2 in Rogue One.
Really?
So that was yeah,
nice.
same guy.
That's cool.
Yeah.
But show some respect for Gary, why don't you, man?
If only Gary was a number, I could have. But I rate it Gary 0.5.
There you go, Gary 0.5. 4.75 and a 4.5. Not too bad for the first iteration of the DCU from James Gunn. Well, that's a review. Find us on Threads. We're going to be talking about this, I'm sure, for the next week and a half. Fantastic Four First Steps is coming out in, I don't know, what, 12 days? Crazy. Let us know what you think in the comments about Superman. Give us a subscribe and follow us on YouTube. And until next time,
may the review be with you.
Peace.